Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Freedom from Nigeria, where we provide you with all the information put together in one place so you and the rest of the world can understand what's going on in Nigeria. There has been so much going on recently that it's hard to really keep track of what's going on. But I want to give everyone just a quick summary of what the issues are. And then we're going to dive into what we're going to be talking about today, the church in 2023, the shepherds endangering the sheep. This is a NINES presentation, and NINES is the Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination that has put together a plan called the Constitutional Force Majeure Plan, which says we are rejecting the 1999 Constitution, which is fraudulent. And why is it fraudulent? The people did not make it. It's military decree 24. And the world needs to, I would like to say they need to know that, but they already know that. We just need to figure out why they haven't acted on it. But let's talk about what's going on in Nigeria. Pretty much what's going on in Nigeria is this. We have the indigenous people of Nigeria, mainly the Hausas, the Igbo, the Yoruba, and a mixture of other ethnic groups in the Middle Belt and the South. They've been there since 600, 500 BC, maybe before. And then you have the Fulanis that arrived in 18th century AD, but have the audacity to claim that they are indigenous to Nigeria. And do you know what's going on? Well, in 1960, they established regions. These were bona fide sovereign nations. You had the Western region, the Eastern region, the Midwestern region, and the Northern region, which was supposed to have been carved out into the Middle Belt and the North. What makes them regions? Well, they were self-determining, self-governing, autonomous, meaning sovereign, had their own leaders, their premiers, right? They had their own constitution, even their own coat of arms, and they controlled their assets. Check, 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 and check. That's a nation. That's a sovereign nation like Ukraine. Fast forward to 1966, and it's all over. Their sovereignty gets hijacked. I don't want to say, it ended. It was hijacked. It was stolen. It was taken away by the military forcibly, meaning it's illegal. It's not right. Shouldn't happen. Kind of similar to what Russia is trying to do in Ukraine today. So we languished under this. We tried it back in 1979 to get back to the nations. But then, oh yeah, is this Buhari again? Hijacked the nations one more time. And then in 1999, everyone was excited. We're going back to our nations, to sovereignty, to moving forward, to being productive. And we woke up and realized the military decree 24, not a constitution, had been put in place. And this was done by the Fulani, who are foreigners to Nigeria. So now, I'm going to fast forward to today. Today, we have something that's called RUGA, supposedly pasteurization. But RUGA is calling all Fulani around Africa who are not Nigerians, they're foreigners, to come into Nigeria. And how is this happening? Buhari's Fulani. Okay, most of everyone that is ruling Nigeria revenue is Fulani. So they have created apartheid. And now they have partnered up with Boko Haram, ISIS, ISWAP, and the rest of the terrorists. So now we have an existential threat that indigenous people are facing. How to solve the problem? Not by integrating terrorists into foreign terrorists at that, into the society, Antonio Guterres. That has to be retracted. And that must be changed. And all of those terrorists need to go, unless any country can show us where they have integrated terrorists into their area. So let's go on to today. Religion, very religious. So why are we killing each other? Well, intolerance, Sharia, kill the infidels. It's about extremism. It's about terrorism that is happening not just in Nigeria, but across West Africa. So I have with me today Modupe, who's going to be moderating this discussion about a church. So with all this going on, there is an election scheduled for 2023. Should it happen under this fraudulent Constitution, aka Military Decree 24, what is the church saying? What is the mosque saying? What is the Christian world saying? We'll find out. So welcome, Modupe. We are excited to have you here, and just to pass along some comments from our viewers that are very excited about your insightful comments. We're also going to have Stephen that's going to be participating with us. And as other people join, we'll probably let them have a say. So welcome again, Modupe, and I will let you take over and run the show. Welcome, everyone.
Well, thank you. What a lovely introduction into the discussion for today. Again, thank you everyone for joining us again today on this forum where we usually educate our people about the occurrences in the country. And today specifically, we want to examine the roles that our religious fathers or our religious leaders can play in helping us to restore, or in helping to restore our powers that have been forcibly taken from us, and also our dignity as well, because when Absolutely. They take away your power, they take away your dignity.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So today, one of the questions that we'll be asking us, or the big questions that we'll be asking ourselves, is that what should our leaders, our religious leaders, do to save our lives? And in doing that, we'll be reviewing a video, or a recorded video that by Mr. Tony Nandi, with regards to what our religious leaders, the roles that they should be playing in restoring our dignity and our power back, and also what we should learn from them, or what they should be educating us with regards to the 2023 election. So without further delay, I'm going to share my screen so that we can actually go through this. We can go over this together. So bear with me for a second while I do this real quick. All right, so can you see my screen? Yes, everybody? Yes. Jean, can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. All right, so today we're going to start the discussions first with the definition of the role that religious leaders should play in the society. And specific reference will be made to a 2013 press release by the Secretary General of the United Nations, who clearly defined the role or the roles of the religious leaders in this article. And I'm going to pull up that article so we can take a look at it together. In the article, which is what we'll be looking at right now.
The new best way to make money online that nobody's talking about is something you've never heard of before. It's using Audible. So these right here are real paychecks from Audible. They're not mine, they're my wife's, because I showed my wife how to do this. But this first one here is for about $1,100. This one's for $3,000.
All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. So, and again, this was a statement by this was a press release by the Secretary General of the United Nations, and there's a specific area here where there's a focus, a statement that stands out that I want us to examine, and this block of text here, which is the paragraph, it reads, "The United Nations Alliance of Civilizations provides a platform where governments, religious leaders, businesses, and civil society groups, especially those representing young people, can stand up for inclusivity and against extremism." So I want to say that again. Their role is really to stand up for inclusivity and against extremism. And those are vital because we will learn today from the video that I mentioned earlier, video by Mr. Tony Nandi, about how our religious leaders may put us in the arm's way, but we don't want that to happen. And that's why we need to review this. And that's why it is important that we emphasize that their role is to stand up for inclusivity and against extremism. So with that being said, let's quickly go into what Mr. Tony Nandi said real quick. Okay, so specifically, he addressed the danger that our religious leaders may place, the danger that our religious leaders may pose to us if they are not properly playing their roles. And we talked about the roles again, the two words, inclusivity and against extremism. We will review this to step by step to kind of get a good grasp of the message that Mr. Nandi was trying to pass to us. So here we go with Mr. Nandi's video. And again, it's going to be piece by piece. So I'm going to be pausing in the middle so that we can actually take a break and review the content together before we move on to the next one. So here is Mr. Nandi. Is my screen visible? Yes?
No, I can only just see you.
Okay, my screen
So
is.
you need to go to share.
Yeah, I did. It's just, okay. Let me try again.
Yeah, you need to share again.
Yes. How about now?
There we go.
Okay, good. All right, so let's listen to Mr. Nandi.
Still on the line of the alerts we're raising from Ninas concerning what's going on, particularly this push to election 2023. The men of God in the land, the general overseers, the presiding pastors, the bishops across the length and breadth of Nigeria. This is death coming to your congregation. And all of those who are asking people to go to get PVC, talking about how millions of votes could be secured, talking about how better leadership could emerge under an election that will be conducted by those who are invading us and trying to conquer us, in which the constitution by which the winner will govern guarantees all of what we're trying to run away from.
Okay, let's stop. Let's pause that. Let's pause there for a minute. Mr. Nandi, emphatically says that going ahead and participating in this election is going to guarantee, he said guarantee, what we are trying to run away from. What are some of the things that we're trying to run away from? So if I may just pose the question to everyone here, and please feel free to chime in. What are we trying to run away from? Well, can we say definitively that this election will be free? Will it be fair? And can we also say that the person who is going to emerge as the chief executive will be the choice of the people? So on that day, say that the people have spoken and they've elected the president. Can we truly say, can we answer these questions with this election? So anyone, please chime in.
Well, let me chime in and just have a comment here. We're talking about, as we talked about in the introduction, we're talking about a country that is set up supposedly a federal republic, but only has a federal government with no nations. We're talking about a country where the foreigners who only arrived in the 18th century have pretty much invaded and captured all the revenue generating areas and control the election processes. They control the population and the census counts. They have in that constitution criteria that makes it impossible for those in the middle belt to the south to ascend to the presidency. So we're talking about apartheid here. So how is any election? Oh, unless I forget. We have seen in the past where Britain has interfered in the fair elections in this country. And that I don't think has stopped, because we're still hearing about corruption instead of hearing about the fact that the Fulanis are colonizing Nigeria. So to say that an election can be free and fair and that we can give our vote and our votes are going to count, it's a fallacy. It will not happen. The best person does not win in Nigeria. It is set up for the Fulani or one of their stooges to win. And how do you vote in that environment? How can anyone honestly vote in that environment?
You can vote. Thank you, Jean. You cannot vote because it's been selected for you. So, Mr. Faleti, do you have something to contribute to that, sir?
Thank you, ma'am. I was just going to piggyback on what Jean has said and say that in an ideal environment where there is indeed a valid constitution, you seldom have what you'll call a perfect election.
Yeah.
There's always mistakes, accusations of fraud, and things like that. What makes the Nigerian experiment worse, for want of a better term, is that not only is the foundation for the election fraudulent and invalid, it is not an election in the proper definition of the word. Just like you and Gina have alluded, is actually a selection. Mm-hmm. And this process that is, close quote, election is just being performed just to blind our eyes to the reality of the captivity that we are in, and to fool the otherwise outside world that really doesn't care to delve into what is going on in the country, because they're complicit and benefiting from the chaos.
Absolutely. I love the fact that you talked about
it is not an election by any definition of the word. It's a selection. So going through it is like burying ourselves in the coffin and putting the nail on it ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much for such an awesome analysis of that. Yes, you're correct. It cannot be an election, but a selection. I mean, if majority of the country, majority of the people in the country, where we're supposed to have a federation, but then the units don't even exist. The units only exist on paper. They do not exist, in actuality. So there can never be a free or a fair election, and so the results cannot be trusted. I mean, if we cannot trust the process, then we cannot trust the result. So why would we even go in and participate in such a process? So let's continue with Mr. Nandi's.
Let us welcome Odua Action Movement that just joined us, and will be participating in the discussion. You are welcome. If you can unmute before we go on, just to say hello to the people. Odua Action Movement, could you unmute?
I think can you hear us, sir? Odua Action Movement? I'm not sure if he's here.
I'm not sure that he can hear us. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So let's continue with the video clip.
Securing funding for your business can prove a real headache. With Tide Cash Flow Insights, we've made it easy for your business to...
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so let's continue.
Death coming to your congregation, and all of those who are asking people to go to get PVC, talking about how millions of votes could be secured, talking about how better leadership could emerge under an election that will be conducted by those who are invading us and trying to conquer us, in which the constitution by which the winner will govern guarantees all of what we're trying to run away from. This broadcast is for the attention of the church leaders in Nigeria. The election 2023 is the strategic plan of the enemy to save the life of the constitution that we have defeated. That's what is at stake. We go to the election, that constitution survives. The caliphate carries on with its conquest, having another 4 years. If we're able to stop the journey to the election, that constitution goes down, and our people are free from that bondage, because we'll be going only to transition, going to referendum to decide a new thing, what we do with our sovereignties that will have been freed from the collapse of that constitution. There's no other thing at stake than whether we go to the election to sustain the caliphate-owned Nigeria, the apartheid Nigeria, or we shut down the journey to the election to free our people from the bondage that has lasted over 100 years already. And so, anybody who sees this video should please make sure that it gets to Pastor Enoch Adeboye, because we saw what he preached on a few days ago, last Sunday precisely, where he was inviting people to go and get their PVC. That PVC will be printed and distributed by the Fulani. The INEC that will manage the entire election is controlled 100% by the same people. They are the ones who do the delineations. They know where they put figures and where they remove figures. They are in control of the armed forces and the police that will, carry ballot boxes around. No matter what you do, they're in control of the two parties. The candidates should be as they process. So if they all go to one party where they converge, to be sure that that party wins, and they go leave another party, the APC, for instance, is now an empty shell. Like they turned PDP into an empty shell in 2015. They've moved again. There will be a Fulani candidate. The general overseers.
Sorry, I wanted to stop there, us to pause there for a minute.
Right.
And to discuss the game plan of these people. So the game plan, just like Mr. Nandi said, is to make sure that whatever they do, a Fulani candidate is going to emerge again as the president. And they're already putting, and we're seeing the handwritings right now. He made mention of how the APC is gradually becoming a shell. So with that being said, I would like for us to, is it really true? I mean, what is it that we're seeing right now that is really alluding to what Mr. Nandi is telling us? That is pointing to what Mr. Nandi is warning us about. Are there some occurrences recently that is pointing to the fact that these people are trying to move, just like Mr. Nandi said, move people from one party to another party to ensure that no other candidate emerge as the president except a Fulani candidate. Can anyone, does anybody want to chime in there, or maybe just, shed some more light on that area?
So Sam Bayo has just joined us. He's from the UK. So hi, Sam. How are you? You are welcome.
Greetings to everyone. I really appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Okay. So the way that we do is, once we have, a question asked, we take turns in, just talking about what's actually going on. So you are welcome to join in. Okay. So, I think we talked about that before, about when you look at what's going on in Nigeria, the fact that it's an apartheid. We are in apartheid, right? President Fulani, Speaker Fulani, NFBC Fulani, police Fulani, army Fulani. Every revenue generating place and every revenue spending place is Fulani. And I will keep repeating this for the Western world because they all seem to not understand. The Fulani only just came to Nigeria in the 18th century AD. There are indigenous nations in Nigeria that had a pact to work autonomously, but have a central government, a small central government. What we have right now is that the Fulani have come in with their partners, their Western partners. Yes, they do have Western partners. And I put this in place, okay? So now we have these musical chairs that they play between these two parties. It is musical chairs. So they wanted us to believe that PDP was for the South. And then the APC was for the North, right? When it suited them. So then everybody moved to APC. Now everybody is moving to PDP that is from the North. And then we're talking about, are we going to zone? Are we going to not zone? Let the best person win? That's where the fallacy comes in, as we talked about, because there isn't anything that is in place to see that someone from the Middle Belt or someone of Hausa origin who are indigenous to Nigeria, so the Hausas, Middle Belt to South, there's nothing in that constitution that will allow them to emerge victorious. And if by some miracle they do, in PDP, because that's where everybody's flocking to now, the Constitution pretty much guarantees that the majority of the lawmakers that is tilted to the North make sure that he's a lame duck president that continues the agenda that is already laid out in that very same Constitution that he's going to swear to. I'll yield for somebody else to speak.
Thank you. Speaking of making the president a lame duck, actually, we have a vice president right now.
A lame duck.
He is a lame duck.
Yes.
I mean, how many times has Buhari left the country for maybe medical checkups or something, and then the vice president is not the one? According to that, in any civilized society, when the president is not available, the vice. That's why there's a vice. But then anytime Buhari left the country or maybe was on vacation or something, we'll be hearing the presidency says the presidency. Who are the presidency?
Exactly.
So it's like so the vice, the vice is just placed there as a placeholder, right?
Yes.
And nothing more. Some people will refer to him as an extra tire, right? Those are words out there that have been used to describe Mr. Vice President, who is really not vicing, who is really just an observer or a spectator in there. So I'm not sure if anybody else wants to give us their perspective on this, meaning that they have their game plan, and just like you rightly termed it, you said is a musical chair, right? So the musical chair is that you really don't know who is going to be. Who is going to be the winner, because they can actually, because it's all.
But we know the Middle Belt, the South will be falling because they will.
We know the Middle Belt, yes, exactly. We know exactly. We know who will lose, but we don't. But
they will not have chairs at the end.
Exactly. So, so again, to the audience, what is it that we see that is really a red flag, to us, that we really should be talking to our people about, and which again we should not be quiet or be mute about. What are some of those things? And we just mentioned, like, making sure that the parties, that they arrange the parties in such a way, the political parties in such a way that they are person who they've already identified who is going to win. Let me tell you something. They've already identified who is going to be the president. So all this, they're just making everyone go through the process. So, which is very, very deceitful, and I believe very, very dishonest. So should we knowing all of this, should we then walk in with our eyes closed and pretend as if we don't know this game plan? Anybody else that wants to comment on this?
Can I come in?
Absolutely, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you for having me. Sambayo is my name, and some of us have completely switched off from Nigeria. So this issue of who's going to be the president, who's not going to be the president, is only interesting if I still believe that the marriage can work. But it's got to, the way I say it's got to a point of no reconciliation, whereby
irreconcilable differences.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not even, if we get it right, it's not even a divorce we are asking for. We are asking for annulment.
I love that you said that, Sam. I just love that you said that, because it's not secession.
No,
it's not a divorce. It's a reclaiming, restoration.
Yes, exactly. It's an annulment when the combination was wrong from the start. You cannot divorce an illegal marriage. It is seen as if it never happened.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
No,
Nigeria is an illegal
I just love what you're saying.
Nigeria is
an
illegal marriage.
Yes, you cannot. Yes,
it has to be annulled.
It's an annulment.
Thank you, Sam. That's the best quote of the day.
Thank you. I've noted that, sir. Mr. Sambayo, go ahead, sir. I'm really loving this.
So, and the way I say it, we have to dream it before it's put into our hands. Whatever necessary, way necessary is achievable. Unfortunately, we have three groups that are like stumbling blocks. Our traditional leaders, our political leaders, but today we are talking about our religious leaders. Those three groups are not with us. A very few minority of the traditional are with us, but the religious ones, which are the topic for today, they are part of the problem because they are benefiting. I used to attend one of the big ones, and I used to, I strictly believe in it and all kind of things. I'm still a Christian, but with a kind of different way of thinking at the moment. I've seen commissioners, I've seen governors, I've seen all of them coming for political votes in my then church, and they're all over from this state, that state. I think we need to remove this individual. Today way better than my past life.
Presence of the invaders in
exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And the good thing is this.
Stay in control with Google's local services ads.
This poor lady has a Christian name, Deborah.
Yes.
And I think Paul Neyi said something, to be fair to him, about it, but that is just where it's not about, this is beyond talking.
Yes.
I can't see why they cannot be going beyond just talking. Read through the Bible. It's not just about talk and talk. Jesus did not just sit in the synagogue and expected miracle to happen in Samaria or in Jerusalem. He went out, he walked physically. These people are just milking the innocent one. But we are not really to convince them because they've made themselves. I think whatever will happen organically. Are saying that they are leading their members to slaughter. It is true, but unfortunately, a good number of them have resigned to that. So,
I want to talk about Deborah here or not that said that an Igbo cannot be president. I don't want to stir up anything, but I'm just saying, Deborah is quote unquote a pastor. I'm not really sure what kind of a pastor he is.
Actually, Jean, there's a portion during the tape recording that is going to mention
awesome. Thank you.
So, and yes, so we'll get there, and the issue with regards to Deborah. But before we move on, I just want to and thank you, Mr. Sambayo. Very, 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 very lovely analysis. I just want to say though that what we are trying to do, we are not trying to convince them. At the beginning of this, of this discussion, we started with a 2013 press release by the United Nations Secretary General, which reminds us of what the obligations that. See, the thing is, we are not trying to convince these leaders, right? We just want to put them on notice that we told you, and we are doing that now, and also in a way to let the congregation and their followers know that these people they have obligations to perform a role, to meet, for them to complete their role, and their role to you is to make sure that that they stand up for inclusivity, to use that word, and to discourage or to stand against extremism. And that's what they should be doing. And we want to remind them. So we're just reminding them that these are your obligations to the society. These are your obligations to the communities. And so their followers are also listening so that they know to hold them accountable. All the leaders must be held accountable, including the religious leaders as well. They should not be exempted from accountability. So again, thank you for your contribution. Yeah.
Let me ask a quick question. Mm-hmm. If the religious leaders in a country that is suffering from genocide, if they're not speaking, will the world believe that there's genocide going on when those who are being killed, their leaders are not speaking? That's an endangerment.
That is absolutely. But then the people will need to start speaking because they are killing them.
They need to know that, right?
Yes, exactly.
Because the church is not speaking, their people think that nothing is going on. They think that this is 419 and it's those in the diaspora that's making it up.
Well, you know what?
They keep seeing the trailers of FOREIGN FULANI penetrating deep into the South, and then they disappear. Where are they? In your forest with their guns, because they're the only ones that can carry guns. So their people may not know. So that's why it's important for us to be having this discussion, because our people need to know, Christians and Muslims, because we have Muslims in Nigeria that are not extremists. They too are being killed in the Northeast, the Northwest, and the North. They're going through the same thing. Now it's moved down to the Southeast where they're slaughtering young Christians. and to the southwest where they're doing the same thing. And I think they're now trying to make a push into the south. So if we don't tell our people, especially the young ones, and especially those that are in church, right? How will they know that their lives are in fact in danger?
Absolutely, thank you. And we will use that to segue. I mean, to listen to Mr. Nandi's narration, and then we will segue into the recent incident of Deborah, who was killed. And I believe that with that incident, a lot of them Christians started to believe that it's not just people in the diaspora that we're not making this up, that it is truly happening, so that you're truly at risk, your lives are at risk. So let's continue with Mr. Nandi's narration.
Stay in control with Google's local services ads.
Okay, let's see. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
They've moved again. There will be a Fulani candidate for you to know the outcome of the end point of that election. They've moved to where they want to converge and aggregate PDP. The candidate in that platform will be a Fulani candidate. In the south, where they've zoned PDP, APC chairman, presidency slots to, they have moved away from that party, and it's just an empty shell of what used to be it's the ruling party for now, but they've moved there. We saw Tambuwal. Those who haven't seen the video where Tambuwal was telling his fellow governors about how they did a similar thing in 2015, should please look for that video and see it. We're not just making it up. They've moved to where they want to be. They're going to leave an empty shell of APC to whoever they give the so whichever ticket you get outside these two, you're just deceiving yourself. And so, but what is the strategic objective of going to election at this time when the flock that is in danger of death is saying this constitution cannot be basis of another election, so that we can go and sort out, we can stop the invasion? There's no other solution to that invasion than to delegitimize the presence of the invaders in our space. As long as we're in this union, under this constitution, those people are entitled to be in your space, in your backyard. And if they are the only ones who can carry gun when you can't touch gun, you are just laying yourself on the table to be slaughtered. And those who are inviting people to come to election that will validate for another 4 years, that bad situation, are actually inviting them to death. As it is for Pastor Deborah, let this video be made available. Let those who have access to David Oyedepo should see this video. Ibiome in Port Harcourt should see this video. Paul Enenche in Abuja should see this video. Michael Konkwo should see this video. Zili Agri should see this video. And all of Umaupai, Umuyo should see this video. Pastor Defarashi, who already agreed with us that the Nigeria is a scam under this fraudulent constitution. I don't know where election comes in solving this problem. He should be made to see this video. All the men of God in the land who are inviting people to go and get their PVC, the Christian Association of Nigeria should see this video. You are inviting the flock to their death. The men of God in Nigeria who are asking people to come to election 2023, you are inviting your flock to their death. We are prepared to come once more to come to explain to you in private. We've done a lot of that across the last 15 years. You are inviting them to their death. That constitution is the reason they are being killed. We have an opportunity to overcome that constitution and stop the killings. You are inviting them to their death in asking them to come and join those who desperately want to revalidate the life of that constitution. That's what you are doing. The flock, those who will be killed, those in that congregation that go to look up to these men of God who are supposed to be looking out for them. I don't want to talk about Bakare. We can see he's lost his mind completely.
Yeah, so I want us to stop right there, and then we just, and then we talk about what Mr. Nandi just narrated to us. He said that those leaders, and he specifically named them, who are inviting, are telling, encouraging their congregations, their followers to go and get PVCs and participate in this election. What they are doing is they are inviting the people to their death. They are actually leading them to their slaughterhouse. That's what they're doing. And he named these people. He named those people. And then he said, Tunde Bakare has lost his mind. So don't even bother about that one. And that's what I wanted to stop. I wanted us to stop there. But for a minute, let's look at some of the, let's just analyze what Mr. Tony just told, what Mr. Nandi just told us. Remember that, recently, just like we said, one of the college students in Sokoto was murdered and burned just because they said she supposedly, spoke blasphemy. But who should be the judge of that? That's what I'm saying. Why would you be the judge, the jury, and the executioner? Why should you even do that in the first place? And how many of these holy fathers, all these religious fathers, have actually come out to condemn this? I want us to take a look at this article real quick relating to this matter. Okay, so I have it.
Securing funding for your business can prove a real headache. With tight cash flow.
Okay.
Yes, and this is the picture of the young lady who was brutally murdered just recently. And we see what some of the the people in the administration, what they said. Okay. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry for I needed to stop that. I think I made the wrong. Can you? I think I made.
Yeah,
the wrong.
Huh?
I need to mute this person. Okay, good. All right. So yeah, I wanted us to take a look at this real quick. I want to bear with me for a second. I think I clicked the wrong thing. All right, here we are. Okay. So recently, this young lady was murdered. She was the gruesome killing of Deborah Samuel, a Christian female student of Shehu Shagari College of Education in Wamako. So this person who Anas Muhammad Sani is a personal assistant to the Sokoto Finance Commissioner, has asserted that Miss Samuel was brutally murdered because she was reckless with her tongue. Who should be the judge of that? Can you believe that? That this day and age, somebody will be killed because they were supposedly reckless with their tongue. I mean, I'm just saying, since when has being reckless with the tongue become a capital offense?
Right. I mean, like, even if that were true, like Mother Pepper, was she really reckless with her tongue? Or let's
even say that she was.
That's what I'm saying.
Does that rise to the level of a capital offense? Is that a capital offense? I'm just saying.
Blasphemy. I think
Dr.
blasphemy supposed to be like you go to jail? Because I remember the singer in Kano. Remember the
That's
singer? That's
exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. That's exactly, extrajudicial killing. That's what it is.
Exactly.
This is the case of extrajudicial killing.
Exactly.
That is a direct, it's actually a direct violation of our human rights.
Exactly. And the legal rights.
Dr. Dupe.
Yes, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Farid.
Yeah, your question leads me to address the current narrative about our agitation. when you asked, does that rise to the level of a capital offense? I would say a careful yes, if you are a Fulani and you have the mindset of a Fulani. In the mindset of a Fulani, we are already conquered people. And the sooner we start understanding the mindset of a Fulani, the stronger and better we get ourselves prepared for this agitation. Our current narrative within the agitation period, within the agitation community, is that we are in the agitation to prevent the Fulanis from conquering our lands. See, when you are working to prevent something, your level of preparedness is not as strong as when you are working to reclaim something that has already been conquered. Unless and until we recognize that we are already conquered people, the way the Fulanis are, we will not be fully prepared to really regain our conquered territory. See, in their mind, we are conquered people. And I'm saying this to bring to light what they call reckless with a tongue. I got this information from the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria when he was interviewed about the details of what transpired. What constitutes reckless with a tongue was Deborah complaining of religious postings on the academic platform.
Yes.
That's exactly what, I mean, to me, it's a valid objection in any civilized society. But if you're in a society where the person that is objecting is a slave and a captive, of course it's a capital offense. So the sooner we recognize that, the better we are prepared to fight the self-styled conquerors. In their minds, they have already conquered us. So any and everything that we do is capital offense. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Actually, thank you for that wisdom, Mr. Faliti. Are we truly slaves? Jean?
Yes.
Why
do you have that list that shows all the ministers with the revenue?
Yeah.
Do you have that list? Because
well,
then
the nepotism.
We are
well,
right
then to
now,
the
technically,
okay.
You said that they have captured our government, right? Because they have put in a fraudulent constitution, which is military decree 24, Western world. It's not a democracy. So don't sit there saying, let us save Nigeria. What you have in Nigeria is a military decree. Okay, that should be clear.
Yeah.
So exactly. So they're using that, and they've created the apartheid in that constitution, federal character, which is supposed to make sure that you do not have
any
one group, especially a foreign group. I'll say this all the time. Fulanese are foreign to Nigeria. They are foreigners, and so they qualify to be termed colonizers. UK Parliament, are you listening?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think Mr. Oluwaseun raised their hands up. I mean, their hand up. I'm not sure if Mr. Oluwaseun is still there, but Mr. Sam.
He can go ahead. I'll ask him to unmute. Go ahead and unmute, Oluwaseun.
Okay. Hi. Good evening, everyone from Nigeria, Lagos.
Please, because this has been live streamed.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes,
from Nigeria. Good evening.
So please turn on your camera.
Can you turn on your camera, please?
All right. Okay. I will.
What is a person's knowledge and experience actually worth? 20K a year? 50K? What if I told you there are people making 100K, 200K, 500K and more per month just by selling what they already know? But how are they doing it? That's the big question. And if you're not interested in the surprisingly simple answer, then hit the skip button, and I'm sorry for wasting your time. My name is Alex Smale, and a few years ago, I was one of those average people in an average job, wondering if there was more to life than what I had. I remember looking in the mirror and saying to myself, surely I've got to win the lottery soon or something. This can't be it. And when I realized that my total plan for living my best life was to buy a winning lottery ticket, I knew things had to change. I knew I had to start getting control of my own destiny, instead of always leaving it to chance. I knew I had to take action. So I figured out how I could use all of the knowledge and experience that I had to not.
All right.
Okay, awesome.
Hello, Mr.
I'm calling from Nigeria, Lagos, precisely. All right. From what I just heard now, I think from that discussion, from what Daddy Falite just said now, looking at it and the way it's going right now in the society, we can, in a way, literally call it to them. It may not be to us as a conquered territory or achieved in this sense, but I think from what Daddy said, and awareness also matters. How we can create a psychological mindset in the mind of our people that this is their plan, that and then something that they know, that which we know as a Christian that we don't really pay attention to, is the power of winning the mind. They've won the heart and the mind of their people that see. They've not actually defeated them, but they let them know that they are conquered already. That is a victory to them on the other side. But to us, now is the awareness. Right now, we're discussing it. Many people don't know what's going on right now. But I think a quick approach, which I've been studying for a while now, that I think we can make ace, because we've been hearing a lot of conspiracy that are yet to come, in a way also to dreams coming from left and right. Even I personally that I've heard that about these people coming on some terrible dream that I had. But I think when dream comes, it's a way that instruction that it's not going to happen. There are instruction that we should do something about it for it not to happen. Now, there's a particular solution which I want to bring up. I don't know if I can say it here right now.
Yeah, let's kind of leave solutions. I've asked you to provide your contact information, and then we'll get to you so that we can, because we have these discussions that we have outside of the camera. We're live streaming. So let's talk about that. If you can just provide, your contact information, but great points that you are making. So Sam, I see that you're chomping at the bit to chime in. So go ahead, Sam. Thank you.
I just want to add to what Alagba Falite said about us being conquered already, that we are slaves, just need to deliver ourselves.
Absolutely.
That is one. The second bit is that we need to get one thing right. What killed Deborah was not religion per se. It was rather culture rather than religion. Because I said that because take that incident from Sokoto to Ibadan or Osogbo, let it happen in Ibadan or Osogbo, or take it to Benin City or Enugu or Calabar, will Deborah have been killed as she was killed in Sokoto? I doubt it. Because there are Muslims in the south. Oh, yeah. In Ibadan is probably, if not 50-50. I don't know the percentage of Muslims. Ibadan is full of Muslims. But you never hear people being killed or even fighting as a religious thing. In some places, early in the morning, you hear Allah, Akbar, and that kind of thing. They wake you up. They disturb your sleep. But that's it. On Sunday, you hear bong bong boro, the noise of the come and join us to whatever. People complain, but that is where it ends. But these killers that murder this young girl, one, they know very little about Islam. They do whatever they are told. They're just like that. Magic, and they do whatever they're told. They get them all over from Niger, from wherever. They do whatever they needed to do, because information said that they even tried to save this young lady when they heard that this was planned, but there were too many to save her. Meaning that it was not just it was a machinery from outside that got this thing done. But will you get that same machinery in Ibadan or in Calabar or in Enugu, who want to say, oh, let's go and kill someone because he's insulted, somebody? I doubt it. Now, it's clear to me, like there's something Yoruba say, I will kind of try and interpret it, that Atikeramero. That is, in a public, in a transport, when you're transporting, you realize that inside that transport, there are not just human beings in there. There are some animals. And obviously, you do not want that kind of transportation where you have some goats, you have some snakes, you have something, public transport. So we just have to kind of get to a bus stop and get off that kind of a bus. So it's, these people, we have different beliefs. Whereas a lot of us are thinking of development, where we are thinking of progress, where we want to launch satellites in space.
Yes.
These people are thinking of how to roam about with their cattle.
You herd cattle, so in the middle of the streets.
It's very clear. It's very clear we don't have the same beliefs.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry, Sam, but I'm going to debunk that. I mean, we've all heard about the Trojan horses. These are the Nigerian cows sent into conquer. Okay, the cows were their lead infantry. Look at the proliferation of cows in Nigeria. That's their military, because they now gave these terrorist Fulani herdsmen, militia, who are listed number 4, I think number 4 in the global terrorism index.
Yeah, they're number 4.
And now the Fulani controlled government now allows them to carry guns, AK-47, to protect what? Cows. The cows are part of the plan. Let's not get that twisted.
Wow.
And it's not just in Nigeria. It's in Ghana, it's in Mali, it's in Chad, Central African Republic. They are all over West Africa. This small group of Fulanis. Okay, but if you look at it individually, say, oh, there's Fulani in Nigeria and it's separate. No, it's West Africa, it's Black Africa, that there's menace, because that's what they're being called.
Yes, they are.
It's not my own words, it's everybody check it out. Fulani.
No, they are a menace.
It's a menace in West Africa, and they use their cows to drive. And again, this is why I'm saying this is their lead army. Their lead army, cows, have now caused 100 million Nigerians, most of them indigenous, to be in poverty. Meaning they can't fight. Let's just be clear on what those cows are. That is their lead infantry.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that, speaking of poverty, we'll get to that in a second, because I want us to look at an article about about Nigeria being the poverty capital of the world. But before we get there, I want us to complete the viewing of the video by Mr. Nandi, and so that we can begin to round up. So bear with me for a second. Let me pull that up. Here we go.
Paying for business expenses isn't as easy as it should be.
All right, so let's see the rest.
I don't want to talk about where the other ones in between just playing pranks. Godelo and co. But let us, Kumuyi, Pastor W.F. Kumuyi, should see this video. The people you are inviting to come to get PVC and go to election, you are inviting them to their death. If you want explanation, priority to come in to explain. This is.
We have an echo.
There's an echo somewhere. So
I'm going to mute Sarah that just came in.
Okay, all right. Okay, so let's yeah. You mentioned Kumi and some of those pastors. I want us to just pause there and then we finish up. Last year, Adi Farasin, Mr. Faleti, do you have something to say? Can you hold off on that 1 second so that
Thank you. Okay.
Yes, just 1 second. I want us to watch Pastor Adi Farasin about Nigeria.
Sarah, you need to mute your line, please. Stop unmuting your line, Sarah.
I've muted her. Okay, so
if you unmute it again, I will remove you. Go ahead.
So let's listen briefly to Pastor Adi Farasin's perspective on Nigeria and the whole, scenario. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
God will give us what we need to do what needs to be done. If we perish, let us perish. Millions will rise in our place. You hear what I'm saying to you? Otherwise, your grandchildren will not have a future in this land. And only people who are genuinely rooted in Christ will be able to deliver on God's purposes for this nation. Does he have a purpose for it? Of course. Look at the amount of resources he has put in Nigeria. Look at the resilience of the Nigerian. Look at how Nigerians are succeeding everywhere in the world, whether they left Nigeria 400 years ago or left Nigeria on a plane 50 years ago. They excel. We're at the top of the treasury in the United States. We're at the top of the World Bank. The list is very long in all the sciences and in all the arts. So the problem is not Nigerians. It is Nigeria and its constitution. The document upon which we were formed was a few soldiers who put it together and their surrogates. And that's what's supposedly holding us together. The foundation is that document. And if that foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? We've got to go back to the foundation. The next administration must not access power until we have a veritable constitution that is truly the document of we the people. You hear what I'm saying to you? Anything else is a fraud.
It's a fraud.
Yes. I'm actually going to stop it here, and then we'll complete with Mr. Tony's video, and then I'll let Baba Faleti give us his wisdom with regards to some of those. Okay, so I will pull up Mr. Tony's now. Back to Tony. Okay. All right.
Tide has helped me grow my business by having the confidence that I know exactly where my money is at all times.
We don't know how else to say it, because in the days ahead, things may break down further. Things will snap. Things will surely snap because people are being killed. Even the politicians who are going to contest that election, let this video be made available to people like Peter Obi, Kingsley Moghalu, all of them from the south, Tinubu, everybody who has gone to buy form to contest election from the south and middle belt, the chairman of the party of PDP, Yoshayu, they are slaughtering your people in Benue and all across the middle belt. All you are concerned about is how to go to another election when we have something that can stop that slaughter. Look at what the governor in Benue tried to do. Everybody is going in the opposite direction. Samuel Otom has done his best to stop the slaughter. But what he needs to succeed in stopping that slaughter is to get this constitution down, defeat this constitution to prevent to reverse that movement to our spaces by people who are coming from across the border. That's what is at issue. The Fulani wants to conquer you. That constitution is the reason they're able to do that. They need more time to finish the conquest. The only way they can get that more time is to drag it to election. Is there anything difficult to understand in all of this?
No. Okay, so let's stop there. Baba Faleti, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I just wanted to appreciate Tony Nadi's impassioned plea to the pastors, because they are primarily culpable for all the resistance that we're getting at the grassroots in letting the people embrace the narrative and the agitation. But at the same time, that serves a good purpose of prodding their conscience. It's not that they don't know, but because they are beneficiary of the chaos, they cannot speak the truth, which is unfortunate. I mean, it runs smack of hypocrisy. They're preaching the truth, but they're walking a lie. So having said that, then, it behooves us to go back to the sheep. See, Attorney is making his plea because he knows, like you and I know, that the sheep will follow the shepherd. Now, I read in the Holy Book that the sheep hear my voice and they follow me. That's because the shepherd only carries a staff that he uses to pull them out of the hole. I don't know too many sheep that will follow a shepherd who holds a tiger on a leash. They will run in different directions. And that's essentially what these shepherds are doing. They are holding the tigers of the Fulanis on a leash. But the sheep are still foolishly following them. So what we need to do is to strengthen our outreach, awareness outreach to the sheep at the grassroots. Because you are preaching prosperity to me. I'm waiting at the bus stop while I'm watching you fly over my head in your private jet. Something is wrong with the picture. I can't afford a 3-square meal, but you are dining in the finest restaurants. Something is wrong with the picture. So we need some stronger education that we're really doing. Because obviously, we've spoken to the shepherds. Tony has spoken to the shepherds. Everybody that I know is speaking to the shepherds, but very few shepherds are coming out. The ones that are coming out are shedding out $100 million just to get it right in the limelight. Oh, I'm sorry, Naira, $200,000 plus, just to get a ticket to run, you know.
And to make sure that no young person runs.
Absolutely. So all that tells me is that we need our job cut out for us for our outreach to the masses, to the sheep, since the shepherds are not listening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You know, just like you said, you actually made an analogy. You said it's like the shepherd holding the leash of the tiger, you know. But are they really even holding the leash of the tiger? The tiger is loose. They cannot. The tiger is loose, and their shepherd and their sheep they just helpless there. But then but then it's very, very disturbing when you said that the sheep that we're trying to make sure that they are not led to the slaughterhouse, they're not even hearing us. So what are some of the things? And Mr. Sambayo, I'm not sure, can you advise us? Like, what can we do to make this sheep? I mean, there are some of those that we know will go to the slaughterhouse regardless, right? But we want to minimize the number because they are still our people. Absolutely. And we cannot watch.
Absolutely.
I'm afraid, like the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And it's not that.
What is a person's knowledge and experience?
Sheep will be slaughtered. The sheep are being slaughtered.
Yes.
Like I said earlier on, I belong to one of the two big ones. And I have heard specifically where pastor and his wife, members are slaughtered, killed, not once, not twice. In the last 12 months, in the last 2 years, in the last 3 years, people are being killed. It's not, I'm talking of Christians, of one of these two main ones. And so they are being killed. That is one. The second one is this. The sad thing is, situation like this will not stop people from becoming victims. These these religious leaders don't care whether these people die. And this is the truth. what their interest is number, not you and me being Deacon so, Deaconess so. If Deacon so leaves, they want 10 deaconesses to replace them. They don't care about a particular person. It's about number. So, and when we have problem, that is when we tend to, oh, maybe if I go to God, maybe my problem will be solved. Let there be Igbo nation, let there be Yoruba nation that are working, that are looking after their people. That number of churches will go down. People will stop going because they've got jobs, they are secured, they've got everything. They don't need to, just like people in diaspora. You see all the churches are empty. Go to most churches on Sunday. Maybe if you count 20, you're lucky. And that is not to say they don't respect God or whatever. It's because they've got what they need. Unfortunately, this situation that our people are will keep them in this. And I'm sad to say that some will still continue to be led to their death. I'm not sure what more anybody can do other than this is what is happening, let's do it. This next Sunday they go to church, they change their mind. As soon as that person hold the mic and say this, go and get your PVC, vote for Christian. We need this. And people are like, oh, Baba said. I mean, that is the thing. So if people perish because they haven't got knowledge or they choose not to, what can anybody do? I just don't know what is the way forward because...
I want to say something radical. See, we keep telling these pastors that their people are going to be killed. We're using the wrong language. We should tell them that their money is going to be killed by the Fulanis. They'll act.
Well,
do you understand what I'm trying to say, though? Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Because they're not making the connection.
But Jen, how can they not?
You don't get money.
I don't think that their money will be touched. Because as soon as Nigerian system remains, they will still continue to make their wealth. That is where they are milking from. Don't forget, they get from commissioners, from governors. Those new ones, for instance,
vice presidents. Remember, they also get from vice presidents.
Exactly.
Well.
Exactly.
Guys, trust me. I mean, that's one of the things. But I do want to make a reference to the Bible, so that we take heart. I do want to make a reference to the Bible. The Israelites, on lots of occasions, because of the wrongdoing, got sent away. They were conquered and sent away, right? And I'll give a specific example. When they were being delivered from Egypt. Now they have left.
Yeah,
and they're in the wilderness. Some of them went back. They want to go back to that slavery?
Yes.
Yes. So that's one of the critical things. Remember when we had the program, I think it was last week that we had the program about who we are. Okay. And we said that it is important for not just Nigeria, indigenous Nigerians, but for Black people around the world to know their past. So that they can see their future. It's only in knowing their past that they can see their future. Okay. And the reason I say that is it is so easy to enslave a mind. And I made reference to the blue eye, brown eye experiment that was made by the teacher, where she separated the class.
Yes.
And then Oprah Winfrey did an experiment in just a short period of time that it took her to do her show. She separated, blue eyes from brown eyes. So you have Black people on both sides because everybody had different, those eyes. And they treated the blue-eyed people horrible. Within 2 hours, they were chanting for their freedom.
Wow.
They were that convinced. So it doesn't take long. And when you think about the centuries of telling people of color that we have small brains, that we don't accomplish anything, that everything that we have done is from the white man or from the Arab or from the Asian, when in actuality, the fact says that the person of color stands shoulder to shoulder, toe to toe, and sometimes ahead of the white, the Asian, and the Arab. It's important for us to break that slave mentality, because that's what is gripping not just Nigerians, but other Black people around the world, because we've been fed the same thing. And so that's why we started that series on really talking about the magnificent history, so that we can see that our future is magnificent. We can do it better, or at least not worse than the whites, the Asians, the Indians, you know, I think they're Asians too. Asians. And yes, and the Arabs, of which, you know, the Fulanis are part Arab. So let's just be clear on that. You know, let's just remember that. So I just wanted to put that out there, that the Israelites in a lot of their stories didn't want to leave slavery either. They had gotten into a comfort zone. Our people is in the comfort zone. So we need to break through that, going through them to tell them who they are. Highly favored, wonderfully made, and amazingly talented.
Very good.
That is going to wake up our people.
Very, very good. Well, with that, okay, go ahead, Mr. Sambayo, and then we'll round up for the
yeah, there's just something we are doing at OAM. OAM means Odua Action Movement. We have been able to develop a website to send bulk SMS. It's very similar to the bulk SMS we get from our phone, from insurance, to say that, oh, you had an accident 2 weeks ago, you know, no fee, no charge kind of a thing. If we're able to help you win, you get this. I'm sure we all get that kind of unsolicited text from our phones. So we have developed that. It's near completion, and we intend of using it as grassroots awareness, so that because our people are afraid to be on the street and campaign to say, you know, kind of thing. As you and I know that, you know, as soon as you have 10 people, 15 people campaigning, the next thing is their own people will phone the police to arrest them, and the next thing they locked up. So we are thinking of that. The website is done already. It's a little bit temperamental, so it's not perfect. So I don't know if...
What's the website, if you can?
Yeah,
it's available?
It's the live streaming. We'll get that from you later, so that we can pass it out, since it's under development. We don't want them to be attacked at this point. So but that's a fantastic idea. And that's something that obviously all the freedom groups need to be using, especially those on the ground. So this is going to be a major breakthrough, Sam. So, you know, kudos, huge kudos.
Thank you.
For working on that. Huge kudos.
Yes. And thank you, Mr. Sambayo. And I want us to look at the very last article that we'll look at before we actually call it a day today is, the effect, right? Remember that we said, and Mr. Tony also said that the reason why we must stop the participation. We should not participate in 2023 election is because the Fulani, they already believe that they've conquered, and they just need a little bit more time to complete the conquest, right? And so by taking us to the 2023 election, is going to complete their conquest. And we've been talking about it all day today, you know, how they feel, or how they, in their minds, that we are conquered people already. So that we do not allow them to complete the conquest, we need to not participate in that 2023 elections. And we've been talking about that. But again, you know, what are some of the things, because we're saying do not let us not participate. Aside from them, from the insecurity and the way, the brutal murderers that, example of Deborah and and other Southerners and Middle Belters, they are also the other effects of their oppression and their subjugation, like on our youth and our young generation. Our younger generation, we don't have. There are no opportunities for them, and it doesn't seem like there's ever going to be. Right? It's because they are not even factored into the whole program. What they're doing, rather, they are busy trying to bring in their own, right, to populate the land, and then get rid of the people on the land. And so with this, the living standards, amenities, things like generally the economy is in shambles, right? The economy is actually non-existent. And I want us to take a look at this article about Nigeria being the poverty capital of the world, and that's where yes, it is So I want us to take a look at that. Nigeria being the poverty capital of the world, and this is an article that came out back in 2020. It's quite recent. So you see how the top reason for poverty in Nigeria, and you see number one, corruption. Remember that this is the exact reason that Buhari said he wanted to rule, right? He wanted to contest, right? Tinubu and the rest, they went to bring Buhari and presented him to us, saying that, when America had problems, they called on their general Eisenhower, right? When Britain, they called on Winston Churchill. So this is the general who is going to, somehow, get us out of this trouble. Not knowing that we just invited the general who is going to put a nail right there into the coffin, of the sufferings and the corruption in Nigeria, as we have seen recently. One of his captains, or one of his men in the cabinet, was recently indicted, right, for 80 billion naira worth of looting, right? And the looting goes on and on and on like that. And if we see some of the reasons here, corruption is number one. Why Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world? Why there's poverty in Nigeria. Unemployment, we see 44 almost half of the young people in Nigeria are unemployed. This is alarming. This is really alarming, right? Inequality, we've been talking about this over and over and over. Well, they're talking about women. What about even the men? They don't consider a Southerner or a Middle Belter, as equal to a Fulani Northerner, right? So, and again, I want us to now, use that to kind of round up, so with with the discussions that we've been having all day, I want us to take, maybe starting with Mr. Faleti, to kind of summarize for us. And I know Mr. Sam Bayo told us, these are some of the things that we can do, like he suggested the ODUA, the OAM, initiative, which will take a deeper dive into, so we can have a better understanding of that tool and to use it to kind of help people to address this. And also, what Jean said is about educating the mind, is because the mind has been colonized, right? The mind has been messed up, right? And she made the example of the and she referenced the example of the Israelites when they were leaving Egypt, and where when they were leaving Egypt, and some of them actually they left Egypt, and then some of them wanted to go back because they felt like being slaves was more, it was a comfort zone for them. I don't understand how slavery would be a comfort zone for anyone. But then, we also talked about the same thing happening with the, with the church, followers in Nigeria, right? Where we know that the shepherds don't even care about them. The religious leaders don't care about them. How would you explain the fact that, when somebody like Pastor Adeboye wants to travel from, from the south to Abuja, he would take his jet rather than drive on the road, and the roads we know are full of danger because of the Fulani herdsmen and the terrorists, lurking somewhere in the forest, waiting to pounce on people. But then they will not take the same road, right? And they would tell the congregation that, oh, go ahead and vote again and bring these people back in, and let us just and in a way saying that, oh, bring these people back in so that you can continue your suffering. So, Daddy Faleti, can you help us summarize, aside from what we've been discussing today, how we can, begin to address this in a way that will be more effective?
Thank you, Dr. Dupe. I appreciate your candor and your exposition in leading us through this. I've got two messages, the good and the bad. The good news is we've come a long way and there is light at the end of the tunnel. The less than good news is that we've still got a lot of work to do in terms of education of the masses, especially at the grassroots. We've addressed today the role of the pastors and religious leaders. And we've come to the unfortunate conclusion that the so-called religious leaders do not have the interest of the sheep at heart. The analogy I made about the shepherd holding a tiger on the leash while calling the sheep is simply stated as the religious leader begging the sheep to go and get their PVC so that the tigers can swallow them whole eventually. And that's why we need to reach out much further than we've done in the past at the masses. Unfortunately, most of them are even educated to think intelligently. We just need them to think independently and think critically, think analytically, and understand that if my shepherd that is teaching me about faith drives around with bodyguards in armored car vehicles, and where that's not possible, he flies above all the atrocities of the land, something is wrong with the messenger. The message is not wrong. So we just need to dig deeper and reach out to those masses. Until we do that, everything that we've talked about, the impassioned plea to the pastors, only goes so far as to prod their conscience, if we're assuming they have any conscience left. And if they don't, then of course, we've still got a lot of work to do to the masses that are going to be the ultimate victims of these atrocities. Thank you.
Thank you, Daddy Faleti. Mr. Sambayo, you can unmute yourself.
Securing funding for your business can prove
Thank you, Ma, for inviting me once again. Thank you for having me. I think, like Bafaleti just said, we just need to start looking at what we can do to inform our people. That's all we can do, because these so-called men of God, they fly with 40, they fly from one place to another that's probably like 50 miles apart. From Abeokuta to Ibadan, they fly, they don't drive. From Ibadan to Akure, maybe I don't know if you have to drive many miles, they fly. That's all they do. You know, because those that have got planes, have got helicopters, they haven't got, you know, massive land for a plane to land. They got helicopter. That's all they do. Because they know it's rough, it's dangerous. So will people listen? I don't know. But we just need to do what we can do. Yeah, hopefully, if the website is completely up and running, we will do all we can to inform as many as we can. Then it's up to them, because at the end of the day, they are all adults. They have that decision to take. And if, I don't know, we just need to keep trying. But something will definitely happen. What, I don't know. I believe
that too.
I don't know.
I believe that too.
Yeah. There may be a stronger hand from the above that will help us.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes.
How and when, I ain't got a clue.
Thank you, sir. And you're very right. You know, the enslavement of the mind did not occur in a day. It didn't just happen by sudden flight. You know, it happened over time. And so it's going to take, a little bit of time to also get, to reverse that, that negative learning, because that's what it is. It's a negative learning that we need to reverse. And again, thank you so much for, for your wisdom and for the, for the input that you're taking with OAM. Thank you. Mr. Oluwaseun, if you're still there, do you want to put in a word or two before we call it a day today?
Okay, I don't have much actually. I think more all have been said. And the only thing I want to say is that area of awareness, which I think is very, very important right now, because I could remember during the awareness that we're doing of the rally before the Lagos one was busted. Mm-hmm. I could remember everybody was in haze that what is coming. That actually made people to eventually know. Mm-hmm. Because if the rally had been done, people would have gotten the awareness that there should be a disintegration right now. But because it wasn't done, people eagerness to know gave them that consciousness to dig in more information about what was about to happen, which eventually they got information. So right now, I think majority of Southerners know that we are not up for Nigeria again, that we are going. So what they need now and how to go about it is what they need to know. Who that's supposed to help us do that are mostly religious leaders from the Muslim and from the Christians. And we have the more congregation, the more people which are on the south, which are Christians, which I expected, as they said, the shepherd ought to help us do this awareness. They may not go straight to tell them that, don't do this, because I understand that their life is at stake and their financial everything are tagged to it. So there's a way they communicate to their audience that you need to support this particular set of people in this way. So by then they will be conscious of how they can secure their life, how they can create more awareness within their family that this is what is coming, this is how they will do. Then I think that's much actually. But I think we can actually do more with this information that we just said about OEM or OAM.
OAM. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sorry, Sheon, Ejo, please.
Go ahead.
Sheon, could you tell us? I'm interested in your surname. How do you say it? I'm trying to say I can't.
Okay. Ogeleyibo.
What does it mean?
Actually, I don't know. I'm from Ondo State anyway. I don't know. I asked my dad, but I think I forgot. I'm from Ondo State.
Okay.
Yeah, bless you. Thank you.
Nice name.
Right.
So, Mr. Asopuru, if you're there and if you want to chime in real quick, but if not, okay. So go ahead. Do you have your video on since we're live? So if you can.
I have my video on, but I don't know if I'm lying down. Let's see if I can show. Okay, I can show it, but I'm lying down. So the Ondo man, if you are from the south, some part, there are some of them that are like Igbo people. So maybe your name was derived from Igbo language.
Does it have a meaning in Igbo? The Ogele Igbo?
Oh yeah, Ogele is Ogele. That is the big gong. Ogele Igbo means the gong of a white man or something. That is the superior Ogele. That Ogele is a big gong. That's what we use to gather Igbo people.
Okay. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, let's see if I can unmute my video. But please, pardon me, I'm lying down. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see also if my screen, this thing comes on.
Okay. Yeah, we see you now.
Yeah. So let me see if I can see myself. Yeah. How I look on the thing. Now, okay, I am representing Organization for Biafra Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we are talking of Nigeria here, but we're still trapped. I have listened with keen interest all kinds of ideas that have been shared here. And the more we get aware of what the Fulani are planning to do in Nigeria, the better we're equipped to know how to tackle it. The very unfortunate thing is that the political class in Nigeria, most of them, are clueless, or they decided not to really recognize the impending danger we're into.
Are they really clueless, or, well, that's a discussion for another day. Are they really clueless, or they are intentionally clueless?
Yeah, that's what I say. Either they are clueless or they're just nonchalant. They don't care. I was so concerned when Buhari announced the open visa policy in 2020, starting January 1 that year. I was waiting for reactions. None came from the House of Assembly or from the Senate. The lawyers, nobody took that executive action to court to stop it. The Nigerian situation is so convoluted that it's difficult to know where to start from. How can we have so much people? By the way, I got my bachelor's degree from IFE, and I have all those IFE radicals. They're active lawyers now, and yet some of these things, I'm not hearing their voices. So I will say to myself, what is really going on? Are people so bought over that they can't even say anything? It is very, very frustrating.
It's frustrating. Wow.
It is very frustrating. But we cannot just say, oh, okay, it's frustrating, throw our hands in the air and then forget it. No, we can't do it. We cannot.
Yes.
So what you guys are doing is great. And I mean, that's why I called in.
Thank you.
Again, if you know typical pro-Biafra people, anything in Nigeria, they don't want to listen to it because it's a hopeless case. But if the agenda for referendum works, then it may be to attend to Israel. And let me throw this in, if people are very seriously pro-Nigeria here, go to Europe. Find me a country, one, that has multiple ethnicity habited together, or multilingual country in Europe. And there are mushroom countries that are smaller than Lagos State.
Even Lagos is 21 million. So we're talking about even the smallest state in Nigeria. I mean, will fit like about 3 or 4 different countries in Europe.
So anyway, the truth is that Nigeria is better.
I think you're muted. I think you're mute. Mr. Sopro, you're muted. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I think he's muted.
Uh-oh. Did you hear anything I said at all?
No. You just, I think you probably you muted yourself probably.
Okay, sorry about that. But I'm going to wrap up because I don't want to take all your time.
Okay.
I've been writing on some of these things for a while, and I don't want to waste anybody's time here. What was I saying? And it may not be possible to break Nigeria into ethnic groups, but most major nationalities must not be afraid of surviving as an independent country. Most should not be afraid because we have what it takes. When I say we, I mean collective Nigerians, to govern ourselves. And not together as Nigeria. Look at what happened in Sokoto. People who have different culture, somebody says it's not religion, it's this culture. Okay, let's take it culture. Why should I now be enslaved in that same culture? Why? But actually it is religion. It's more religion than culture. The reason is because here in the US, I've been working with Muslims. And I have a center, I have an organization that is dealing with refugees. I've gotten the Muslims from across the world. I don't want to name them all here. Their agenda is clear, is definitive, and they are pushing it. When they first came to my center, we have a closing session. We share snacks and then say one prayer by the leader. It's not like 5 minutes or 10 minutes intercession. No. And these people say, oh, can you excuse us? Let's stay in a separate room in your closing session. I told them, no, you can't do that here. So I went to their community and sat with them. I said, you can carry a Quran on your head or you can come here and get helped. People from Somalia, anyway, they decided to come. If you give them an inch, they will take 1 foot.
If I may say, sir, yes. Actually, like you said it's religion, but I think it's culture. The person who said it's culture says it best. It's actually culture because what you're describing now, you're describing a group of people, right? But to now say, because I am talking to you, I'm a Muslim. I am a Muslim, and I can tell you that. No, I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you that, and we have. And if you come to the Southwest, I'm talking about Yorubas, every family has all three. They have Muslims, they have Christians, and they have traditionalists in their family. And we all commune together. I'm telling you, we all commune together. So again, it is more of culture rather than the religion, because one person can interpret. I'm telling you, those who are the radicalists, they will interpret a passage in a way that you will be like, that's not what that says. So again, the religion.
Modukwe, may I interrupt you?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're not going to hold that debate here.
No, it's not a debate. I just wanted to put that in.
Yeah, no, let me explain. I had my first and second degrees from Ife. I've mingled with Yorubas. They are my great friends. And I am talking about when we come to, that's why they won't let you lead any Jamaat in Nigeria when these Fulani people are around. That's by the way. I like Yoruba Islam, okay, or rather Muslim kind of idea, because wife is Christian, husband is Muslim, and life goes on, and children choose whichever way they go. I am very well aware. I lived in Yola for 7 years before coming to the US. And then again here, I have the Muslims from Syria, I have the Muslims from Somalia, Sudan, Iraq, and so on and so forth. So when we come to the other religion, it's a big issue, without prejudice to what you have explained. But that is, by the way, these are from different countries that are not Nigerians. The Islamic agenda, you go to UK, you see it where it's very well portrayed. But my brothers and sisters from the West, my thumb up, because again, I have very close friends who are both. What I'm trying to say in summary is this. Nigeria is complex, and the only solution for Nigeria is Nigeria be nicely and neatly separated.
I agree.
And every group will be prosperous, will succeed.
Absolutely. I agree. Thank you so much, Asopuru, for that. Yes, you are very correct. Because how do you reconcile the fact that there are over 250 ethnic groups in Nigeria? How do you expect them to live? I mean, which group is going to now, concede to the other one and say, yeah, I'm going to leave your way, or I'm going to abandon my own cultural beliefs, and I'm going to leave your way? It's not possible. And like the example that you gave about Europe, there's no, I mean, you have to, in fact, it's almost non-existent in Europe to have a country that will have multiple ethnic groups and multiple culture, in the same country. It's just not, I mean, it has never worked there, and it's not going to work anywhere. And lastly, I also want to talk about, just touched on the point that Pastor Adefarasin said in his, in his video clip. He said that the problem, and this is to just agree with what you said. He said that the problem is not us. The problem is Nigeria. He said, because if the problem is us, how come when we leave that environment and we come and live in all of this, we're thriving, we're doing well, we're doing so exactly. So the problem is not us. So the problem is Nigeria. And once we know that, then it's going to help us to kind of, to identify the path to go in order to separate ourselves from the evil, right? From the problem, which is Nigeria. And that's and that's exactly where I'm going to stop today. Thank you so very much, everybody, for your contributions. I've really learned a lot from everyone here today. I mean, a lot of wisdom, tomorrow, next week we'll be back with another topic. Please, join us next week so that we can have another very educative and very informative discussion on the topics that are on the issues that are impacting our people back home. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What's the next topic?
I'm sorry?
Thank you, Baba.
Yeah, what's the next topic next week?
Well, we will, actually we're working on that. So, but the same way you got the the notification today, you get the notification during the week of what the topic will be. Yes.
Okay, maybe I'll get a little more prepared.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Mr. Sambayo. Thank you, Baba Faleti. Thank you, Mr. Oluwaseun. And Asopuru, thank you so much for all of your, for your attendance and for also your contributions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day and a nice weekend to everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Good night, sir.
Good night.